Guys, I wanted to come on here and share a message that the Lord gave me. He gave me this dream and gave me the interpretation and then a teaching to go along with it, and I'm super excited about it. So, I had a dream that there was a mother, and her name was Leavenworth, and she had just lost her first love, and she was distraught. She needed encouragement. Um, she needed someone to talk to, and she just wasn't doing like well, um, mentally or spiritually. And her daughter Alma, thus lost her father, because her mom lost her first love, her daughter lost her father. And I looked up just the meaning of the word Alma, and it means young daughter. So it's amazing that God gave me this dream, and her name was Alma, and she was also a young daughter in the dream. The name of the mother being Leavenworth, the interpretation that I got from that was just that the church, well, and this goes along with the interpretation of the entire dream, the church, part of the church at least, especially here in America, has put a lot, well, in other parts of the world too, has put a lot of their worth, their value. They put a lot of worth and value in the leaven. But Jesus tells us to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. And what is the leaven? Like, the leaven is it's just a small amount of like yeast that goes into the dough, but it infects the entire dough. And the interpretation that I got for the dream was that the children of the church who lost their first love have lost their beautiful, important daddy-daughter relationship. They don't know the Father's heart. How did this happen? A little leaven in the bread affected the whole church. They placed their worth in the leaven. I've got to sneeze here. Hold on. Okay, it went away. Okay. And what immediately came to mind with that, I believe, is the Holy Spirit that brought into remembrance Revelations chapter 2, when God addresses the church that lost their first love. So I'm going to read that real quick. It's Revelation chapter 2, verses 1 through 7. To the angel of the Messianic community in Ephesus, write, here is the message from the one who holds the 7 stars in his right hand and walks among the 7 gold menorahs, or the 7 gold lampstands. I know what you have been doing, how hard you have worked, how you have persevered, and how you can't stand wicked people. So you tested those who call themselves emissaries, or apostles, or messengers of God, but aren't. And you found them to be liars. You are persevering, and you have suffered for my sake without growing weary. But I have this against you. You have lost the love you had at first. You have lost your first love. You have forsaken your first love. Therefore, remember where you were before you fell. Turn from this sin, and do what you used to do before. Otherwise, I will come to you and remove your menorah from its place. I will remove your place if you don't turn from your sin. But you have this in your favor. You hate what the Nicolaitans do. I hate it too. Thus you have ears. Let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the Messianic communities. To him winning the victory, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in God's Gan Eden, which means God's paradise, the paradise of God. Okay. So it's interesting that in this dream, this woman, her name was Leavenworth, the leaven of the Pharisees, has crept into the church, has crept into the heart of the church, and she has lost her first love. She has forsaken her first love, and thus her daughter Alma lost her father. The fruit of us leaving our first love, the love that we had at first, is unfortunately the children of our church the people who see our witness, the people who are growing up in our midst, will not understand, will not experience that beautiful daddy-daughter relationship. Now, a daddy-daughter relationship, a daddy and son relationship even, is one that we have to, that's so important for us to have with our Father in heaven. And I understand this is coming from someone who has been prideful at times and has forgotten the place. What does it say? Let's see. But I have this against you. You have lost the love you had at first. Therefore, remember where you were before you fell. Turn from this sin. Now, I've been there where I have gotten caught up in pride, forgetting where I was before Jesus, and just having this this pride or this disgust for the behaviors of what I was in before I came to Jesus, like drunkenness or getting high or, whatever the case may be. Like, now when I see that, it makes me feel like it grieves my spirit. But I have to be really, 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 really careful not to be prideful, so prideful that I forget that I was once there. This morning I had a moment. Oh my gosh, it was powerful. I was browsing on the Daystar TV app and I saw the Reflections program. And I remembered where I was at before before I came to Jesus. I used to get drunk, go partying, get high, do all the things. And I would come home really late in the early morning hours, 3, 4, 5 a.m. And I would be feeling so lost and so anxious. I would turn on the TV and that program would be on, and I would turn it on and I would just sit there and let his words I would just eat them, like let them soak into my spirit, and I would draw near to him and I would feel peace again. And this morning I was just like, it really brought me back to that place that I was in. Like, I was searching for peace and relationship and wholeness in the world and in revelry. I had this big gaping hole in my heart, and I was trying to fill it with those things. And I would come home at the end, after a long night of partying, and I would just feel just this emptiness, this void, and this anxiety, and not feel good about myself. And I would turn this program on and I would see his words pop up on the screen. I would see the scriptures. I would listen to the peaceful music, and I would watch these images of nature, and his words brought me comfort. His words are alive. And I was thinking this morning, like, God is so kind. God is so kind, because he gave me grace to feel peace even in those moments when I was doing my own thing and feeling so empty anyway. He allowed me to feel peace in those moments, and I knew that he was the source of that peace. And it took me a while before I repented, but I had to remember where I was at before. And okay, so I'm going to go back to Revelation chapter 2. Therefore, remember where you were before you fell. Turn from this sin and do what you used to do before. Return to your first love, the love that you had at first. Otherwise, I will come to you and remove your menorah from its place. Like, we have to understand that God is the one, Jesus is the one who holds the 7 stars in his hands. He is the one who walks among the 7 gold menorahs. He is the one who gives us the right to eat from the tree of life. It's not our leaven. It's not our works. It is not by works that we are saved. It is by grace through faith. And you know what? He commends the fact that they hate what the Nicolaitans do. He commends the fact that they have persevered, and that they can't stand what the wicked people do. But we need to be humble and have a humble heart, lest he remove us from our place. We need to get off our high horse because we didn't save ourselves. Jesus saved ourselves. Did we turn from sin? Absolutely. But we need to have compassion on the people that are out there doing the things that we did before we came to him. To him winning the victory, I will give the right to eat from the tree of life. He gives us the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in God's paradise. I love that. Okay, so again, it's Jesus's accomplishments. It's what he did for us, right? And what came to mind was because it says that he'll give us the right to eat from the tree of life, which is in God's paradise, God's Gan Eden. Where else does Jesus talk about that? Well, in Luke chapter 23, verses 40 through 43, it says, Jesus is hanging on the cross, and on either side of him are two thieves, and one is mocking him. I'm going to back up to verse 39. One of the criminals hanging there hurled insults at him. "Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other one spoke up and rebuked the first, saying, "Have you no fear of God? You're getting the same punishment as he is. Ours is only fair." See, they had humility. Ours is only fair. We are getting what we deserved for what we did, but this man did nothing wrong. Then he said, "Jesus," or Yeshua, "remember me when you come as king." And Yeshua said to him, "Yes, I promise that you will be with me today in Gan Eden." The thief on the cross, who had a humble and contrite heart, was going to be with Jesus today in paradise. And that's what is promised to him who wins the victory in Revelation chapter 2, that he will give us the right to eat from the tree of life in God's paradise. It is not by our works. We need to be humble and remember where we were before, and not let the leaven of the Pharisees infiltrate the church. Otherwise, the children of that church will not have that beautiful, intimate relationship of that daddy-daughter relationship. We need to understand that we are children of God because of what Jesus did, and that even when we mess up, even when we stumble, our Father still holds us by his right hand and says, "Okay, get back up. You're going to be okay. Get back up." He encourages us to continue to run the race. Okay, your sins have been paid for. Come on, get back up. Like, that's our Father who delights in us, who dances over us. Yeah, okay. So thank you for watching. God bless you all. And feel free to share this. I feel like a lot of the church really needs to hear this message. And I think that's why, Jesus said that people would hate us because they first hated him. We're not here to be liked, but we are here to preach the gospel, and we should be known by our love, right? They will know us by our love. And there is a reason why the church has the reputation that it does of being this unsafe, mean place full of hypocrites. Not everyone is going to love us. We just need to accept that. But they do need to know us by our love and to see him and to be able to hear the gospel without us beating our chests in pride. Okay. All right. God bless you all and have a great day.